What's going on, people? So, picked up some shoes this week, right? Neither of these were on the radar, honestly. But I'll say this now, it applies to both. Got a show coming up tomorrow night. And it's a cover band thing, right? So there's 7 bands: Hall & Oates, Madonna, Dinosaur Jr., Radiohead, Steve Miller Band, Cake, Chapel Roan. I'm playing bass for the Chapel Roan set, right? And so, like, the girls in the band, they're like, oh, we're gonna dress up like her, pink and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But I'll match you for color, right? I can do that. So I needed some shoes that would work. So here we are. I do have those pink VaporMax Flyknit 3s, but, I just wore those when we did the show last Saturday. So, you know how I am. I just like to keep that rotation going, even if that means getting something new. But on the upside to getting these new things, I went with new models to me, so that's kind of like why it isn't a complete waste of my time. So there's the backstory. Let's go talk about what is this. Yeah, it's the Gazelles on this one. Okay, cool. So there you go. That's the side of the box. You caught that, right? If you didn't, doesn't much matter, I don't think. But either way, I'm going to tell you what we're talking about. This right here, which is the Adidas Gazelle Indoor in Sandy Pink, Cloud White, and Gum. Down there across the bottom, what are you looking at? A gum bottom. I kind of said that a little bit ago if you were paying attention or whatever. So yeah, it does have a nice little design to it. I'm a big fan of that, right? And I'm just a big fan of gum bottoms in general. So all in all, pretty happy with that lower half. The upper half, though, of the midsole, nothing really fancy going on there. Still the same thing, right? You got just like the Adidas thing in the brown. You see it, right? I don't need to explain this to you, I don't think. But we're going to move along, get you another picture or two in here so you can kind of catch these things from a slightly top-down view. Which, again, like something like this, once you've caught a glimpse of it, there's really not even a lot to really explain or talk about. You probably can make up your decision as soon as you see the picture, honestly. But whatever, I'm doing a review, so I'm going to be talking about it a little bit. So we're going to start down here in the toe box area, right? As you probably noticed, it's a whole lot of suede going on, Not like the thick kind and all that, none of that color changing stuff. It's all just standard short suede. And then as you move on to the side, you got the thick plastic leather stripes going on here, the thick ones and all that good stuff, right? Typical thing you see on a lot of Adidas shoes. Moving back just a little bit behind that, you do have the Gazelle print on there in the same way as like the Sambas and something else. Some other model that's similar that I can't think of. And then as you move on to the back and whatnot, you obviously have more suede on the side, but the thing that threw me off was the upper piece. I was expecting there to be like some logo or something, but no. It's just this fake leather white patch up there with nothing going on in it. So it just seemed a little odd to me. Still odd to me. Let's jump back to the front real quick though. So in the front area, laces, right? Standard thin pink laces, nothing fancy about them. They're really soft though, I'll give them that. And then when you look behind there at the tongue, we'll start with the bottom area. So I said in like the unboxing I did last night that this kind of looks like some sort of brain type of thing going on because it's pink and it has like that sort of look. And I'm going to stand by that. But you can feel free to tell me what you think that looks like. As we move up to the very top here, you got more of that stuff going on the sides and whatnot. Sure, yeah. But when you look at the middle piece, which is where the main stuff is, you got this gold going on. As the brand with the 3 stripes, got a little bit of German in there. So it's pretty nice. It's a nice touch. I will give it that. And so let's go ahead and before we jump on to the full inside, the tongue is pretty thin here. It's not a whole lot going on with it. But again, it's very much like all the other Adidas shoes that are of a similar nature. Inside, what are you looking at down there? The insole, just pink with like the Adidas and whatever on there. It's kind of like a same cheap leather feeling material. And as you look out the rest of the inside here, same thing goes with that, right? And that part, it's also going to be a little slippery, right? So I'll talk about that later as far as like heel slippage and whatnot. So it's a real deal, people. It's a thing to be considered when you're buying certain stuff. So I think that covers all the actual looks of it. So I guess we'll jump into like the personal thoughts piece and then the sizing, because that's how these videos are generally structured. If you've been here a while, you probably already know that though. Personally, I'm on board with these, right? I saw the picture. I clicked on Adidas, It says, show me all the men's shoes, filter out for just the pink ones. And these popped up and I was like, that is what I want. How much money do you want? And they're like, $120. And I'm like, done, give it. And so here they are. Went and picked them up from the store, did the ship to store option, right? Because sometimes that's a little bit faster. And now looking at them, and the same with last night when I did the unboxing, I do like them a lot, right? It's a simple look. It works well. Like the pink is like not too crazy, right? Kind of lays down real low and whatnot, kind of subtle. And it's not like overall one color. So yeah, all in all, the visual component of this shoe is completely fine by me. The comfort and whatnot though, we're going to talk about that in a minute, and that's where I won't say it falls apart, but it gets a little weird. So here's the thing though, real quick though. These, you probably notice on the side of the box that W down there, it's a women's shoe, which kind of caught me off guard because when I got these, I was looking at men's shoes, but you know, they do make a lot of unisex things, so I figured it was just going to be one of those shoes that was for everybody. But I mean, to be fair, right, I mean, if you saw this, you'd probably initially think, that's probably a woman's color, right? And apparently, I guess it is, because that's what's on there. Now, I bought women's shoes before, so it's like, whatever, and I'll probably do it again, because they do get some pretty decent colors. The only time I'm not a huge fan of buying women's shoes is with like certain ASICS things, because some of their women's shoes are made for a woman's foot, anatomical differences of whatever. So in that case, maybe stay away. But if it's something like this, let's go with it, right? So no complaints, but it is a thing. If that's something that matters to you, maybe look a little deeper before you buy something. I don't know. Either way, also one thing I'll add in, when I did the unboxing last night, I did a little screen sharing, going through all the other colors. They have a lot of cool colors of this model. So if this one isn't for you, and I get that, maybe go check out other ones, because they've got some good looks out there. All right, I said I was going to talk about sizing and stuff, so I'm going to talk about sizing and stuff. I bought these in a 9.5, well, 10.5, I guess technically. Either way, it's a 9.5 man-sized shoe, right? Which is true to size for me, and that's working out okay, right? Not amazing, but just fine. And the reason I say that is because lengthwise, the shoes do feel a little bit long, but they also feel very narrow, right? So if you were to go down a half, I feel like that would be a sad time. So you got that happening, right? But you probably could tell that's a narrow build. But then like the other thing is in the back piece when you're walking around in here, right? If you saw like the pictures in the video, you probably noticed they weren't laced all the way to the top, but now they are. Because if with these, like your heel is not staying in this shoe like without a little extra effort. Because it's, again, a little long, a little slippery, whatever. So that takes away from the overall comfort to me, because when I'm walking around in these, it's like I feel like I can't just walk naturally because my heel keeps kind of slipping around and whatnot. Not a huge fan of that. Also not a huge fan of how they overall feel under the foot. Like, it's not bad, right? I can't really complain about it, but at the same time, like, it's one of those flat style things that is just not, to me, meant for like a day long of walking around and whatnot. Wearing them to work, no problem, right? Anything past that, I'd probably consider something else, but that's just a personal thing. They're still better than all like the similar looking Vans and whatnot. So you got that going for yourself if you do opt to get these. So all in all though, if you've seen any other shoe that looks like this, it probably feels the same. So you probably kind of know what to expect, and to have those comfort level expectations a little bit low. But then again, I don't know what kind of shoes you generally wear. So I may be talking to someone who wears only these, and therefore we probably have a difference in opinion anyway. I'm a big running shoe guy, so that bar is kind of high when it comes to comfort. And these do feel a little bit rigid in some ways, but that'll probably break in. But all in all, true to size worked out for me. It probably won't work out for everybody, so head to a store and try them on first. That will probably save you some heartache and pain and going through the whole return process. Though most sites do have a pretty good return process. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, wherever you are. Gonna talk about these here Nike Vomero 5s because I was not sure which pair of shoes I wanted, so I bought both and I figured I'll figure it out later. And well, short version, I'm just gonna keep them both. Later, people.